I want to talk about AI tools. AI tools are everywhere. Whilst they are useful, the question is, are they the key to academic success? Now, I want to talk in this video about the pros and the cons of using AI for your assignments and how you can use them responsibly. Because where I do think that we need to be able to work functionally and work smarter and not harder, I want to have the conversation about what can go right and what can go wrong with using AI in education. Let's get into it. We know that we can use AI to save time by summarizing articles. And I've spoken about it before. Unriddle is one of the greatest tools when it comes to being able to summarize lengthy pieces of literature, lengthy articles, so that it kind of takes the edge off of having to look at so many articles when you're writing essays, your dissertations, your theses, your reports. Just having something there that can summarize the information for you is a game changer. However, I always preface it by saying, if you are going to get something like Unriddle to summarize large portions of text, and you find something in that bit of text that you say, oh, actually, I really like that bit of information, I'm going to use it in my assignment, you should be going back to the article and going back to the portion of text to read the context. For example, if you found a piece of literature that is discussing the benefits of using AI for personalized support when it comes to supporting dyslexic students, you would need to go back to that bit of literature to make sure that the context is in line with what you think you want to include in your assignment. The other pro to using AI in education is that it can help you brainstorm ideas. So say, for example, you've been given an essay question or you've been given an essay topic and you're not quite sure what direction you want to go in with this assignment. You can ask ChatGPT or Claude AI to give you a brainstorm of ideas on different topics that you can focus on during your discussion in your assignment. What this helps you do is just get concepts down on paper. It helps you think about, okay, I know what the topic is and I kind of know the ideas. I just need a bit of confirmation that I'm going in the right direction. So AI is great for that. And whilst it can help with the brainstorming, then you can take those concepts and take those ideas into a platform like Jenny AI and ask it to generate and draft an essay outline for you. What that will do, it will give you subheadings, it will give you headings to give you more structure to your assignments. So then you know the ideas. So you've generated your topics through that brainstorming, and then you've written or you've asked Jenny AI to help you write an outline of what those topics look like in a decent structure for that assignment. And then you can bring that all together by using something like Grammarly. So when you've finished writing your assignment, you may go to a platform like Grammarly to help you check for, grammar, punctuation, spelling, and all of that lovely jazz. What you can also do is you can ask a platform like Jenny AI that helped you with that outline to read portions of your text and give you feedback on the originality, give you feedback on the clarity, the coherence, whether you've been critical enough, whether the idea that you was trying to give across has done exactly that, whether you've met your target. Does your thesis statement thread all the way through your assignment? And this is what is really good about AI. You can go back and ask it to give you feedback on different concepts and different ideas that you've presented. Now, when we use AI, I feel that as a generation now, there has become this over-reliance on AI. And that is one of the cons I'm going to talk about. Now, over-reliance on AI can really, really hinder your academic integrity, your academic standing, your ability to be a critical thinker. Because as much as you may be writing the content of your assignments, if you are just using AI as something to give, you're not really producing anything original. You're not really using your perceptive powers to read between the lines of pieces of literature, to critique literature. For example, if you are using Unriddle to give you a summary and you choose to just take that summary as is and use those pieces of text to paraphrase, have you really understood the context of the piece of literature that you've used? Because where that article that we discussed before that spoke about the AI helping with the personalization of support for students, the key term was dyslexic students. Did that article specifically talk about dyslexic students, or were dyslexic students a contraindication to the use of AI? Did it actually say, yes, AI can be used to personalize support, personalize feedback, personalize a program to students in general, but when it comes to students with additional needs like dyslexic students, like dyspraxic students, like students who are neurodivergent, actually there's nothing in literature that discusses those particular areas of support. So you've used a piece of literature that has discussed generally the ability for AI to develop personalized programs, but you have not discussed or critiqued the ability of AI to actually produce personalized programs for students with additional needs or dyslexic students. So when you do over rely on AI, you take away that element to be able to read between the lines, because you could have still used that piece of literature, but you would not have known to critique that bit of literature because you hadn't gone back, you didn't go back to read the context of that paper. You may not have looked at a smorgasbord of other papers as well that helped you really, really look at the support provision of AI when it comes to personalization. The ability to critically think is not presented with the use of AI. It's just not there. It's not doing the same thing that academics like myself did back in the day when we had to print off 10 different journals and, use a highlighter, write in the margins, and inevitably only ended up using 2 of those articles because 8 were not relevant. Where AI can do the bulk of the work, the experience of having to sit down and really crunch and chew through the literature, it's just not there. You lose that element of academia. So that is one of the cons. Another con is the fact that AI does not always produce content that meets academic standards. You always have to double check what it gives out. So if you have asked AI for a brainstorm of ideas, it may throw a few things in there that are completely irrelevant to the topic that you've asked it to review. Another thing is, if you have asked it to summarize a piece of text and you haven't gone back to double check the context, how do you know that the information it's giving you back is valid? We know for a fact that platforms like ChatGPT hallucinate and they produce fake references. Understanding that you're not going to get valid references from ChatGPT is one thing, but also understanding that if you do use platforms like Perplexity or Jenny AI, where they do produce relevant citations and references, do you go back and look at those articles? Because one thing I found personally is that Jenny AI, whilst it does produce citations, a lot of them come out of magazines and things that aren't necessarily indexed in, your databases and your libraries, that may hold more substantiated arguments when it comes to the information that you're presenting in your assignments. So being aware that these platforms produce these bits of information means that you can make the decision whether you are going to use that bit of literature that's not necessarily relevant, valid, or substantiated, or you can choose to do a bit of the summary, use Unriddle to summarize those articles that you found in your database, but also go back and read the bulk of that information. Go back and read the context to make sure it is relevant. Artificial intelligence, it's a machine. It only is going to give out what we've fed in. So if you are also writing something that is a new idea, you're trying to fill a gap in literature, but you've used AI to help produce some of that content, are you really filling a gap in literature? Because no one has fed the machine with that information before. So the information that you're getting back is not necessarily going to be valid, because where has that information come from if it's just come from you? So how can you use AI responsibly? Now, the first thing to do is, when it comes to using it to do literature reviews and things like that, is to read the literature yourself and then ask it for feedback on whether you've got the concepts right. But you can use AI in a way, for example, if you are going to use it to brainstorm, put that brainstorm in your own words. So it's going to give you some keywords, it's going to give you some key themes, give you some ideas. Translate that to how you would speak. Translate that to how you would give back that information. And treat it like an assistant, not a peer. Think of it in the sense that if you are a CEO of a company, you may say to your assistant, I need you to draft this for me. But you're not going to present that draft to the board, because that information is not necessarily going to be at the right standard that you need to present to a certain group of people. Also, if you are putting into AI, give me a 6-week program on how to lose my belly fat. Yes, it can give you the 6-week program, but AI is not going to lose the belly fat for you. You have to go out there and do the work. You have to get the gym membership. You have to make sure you're in the gym, 3 to 4 times a week, and you've got to make sure you're eating clean. AI is not going to be doing that for you. The concept is the same when it comes to academic writing and your academic journey. You may ask it to produce an outline, but you must produce the content. You must write the content. You may ask it to give you a summary on the literature that you have found, but exactly that. You have to find the literature. You have to understand the different pieces of literature that you want to include in your assignment, so that when you are presenting information to Unriddle to review, you already know why you put it in there. So treat it as an assistant. You are the CEO, and Jenny AI or Unriddle or Claude AI and Perplexity are your assistants. They are not a replacement. AI is a really powerful tool, but your creativity and your critical thinking cannot be replaced. They are irreplaceable. AI cannot be you. So make sure that when you are using these platforms, they are exactly that. They're just a tool, because the brain we want to see on paper is yours. Which AI tools are you using? Let me know in the comments, and we can talk about them together and see how well we use these and if we are using them responsibly. And remember, you are doing an amazing job. The academic world can be so stressful at times and a bit overwhelming. But remember, you started this journey with a purpose and you are doing great. I'll see you in the next video. But until then, happy writing, enjoy your AI assistants, and I'll see you in the next one.